They are the enemy of the people. The Democrat bill contains billions and billions of dollars for unlawful government training programs inspired by toxic and bigoted critical race theory. It's crammed with so-called equity provisions. Equity, you know what equity means? We're going to take it away from you and give it to other people.
You know the name by now. Donald Trump is the one the world loves and hates. Whatever side you sit on, you should know that he still isn't taking his presidential loss lying down. In fact, it's very likely you'll be seeing Trump on the next campaign trail, as he's pretty sure he'll win again in 2024. Not so convinced? Well, the former president is very hopeful that he'll once again take the Oval Office. But will he be successful, or is he deluded with too much self-confidence? Let's take a look at Trump's claims and then see if anyone actually agrees. Make America great again. At a recent Iowa rally, Trump hinted to his supporters that he'd once again be running for president in 2024. He still maintained that he never actually lost the election, and he still seems to have some political support. In fact, Trump seems to be so eager to run for president again that his advisors have had to tell him to be patient and hold back from making any official announcements. Trump appears to think that holding back is ridiculous, so it's not surprising that he keeps hinting that his supporters are going to be happy. Are we really surprised that Trump can't seem to stay quiet about his potential presidential bid? As one of the most outspoken individuals in American politics, it should have been pretty obvious that he couldn't resist rallying supporters early. He was never going to be a gracious loser, and ever since his defeat, he's been hinting at wanting to become president again. Is it possible that he can win for a second time, or is he doomed to fall flat? Why does Trump think he can win? Trump has a lot of confidence in himself, but it does sound sort of delusional at this point. Trump truly thinks he can win because in his eyes, he never lost in the first place. Before the vote had even been counted in 2020, Trump boasted that he had won and any future result would be fraud. With Trump denying any sort of loss, a win in 2024 seems like a no-brainer to him. In a very Karen-like move, Trump even declared that he would go to the Supreme Court and demand that all vote counting be stopped. His audacity would be admirable if it didn't seem so ridiculous. However, it shows that Trump will stop at nothing to get what he wants. And that includes outright lying and living in his own fantasy world. Even members of the Republican Party don't want Trump to run for president again, with Trump being described as a distraction from what the party really wants to achieve. But Trump still isn't put off by this, mainly because not many Republicans want to go against Trump publicly, and he knows this. This opposition isn't such a concern when Trump has the ability to unify the Republican Party should he run again. Also, let's not forget that Trump had a pretty bad habit of firing most of his staff when he didn't get his way. And if they weren't fired, then they were pushed to resign. Republicans know they have to play nice in order to stay in the Senate, as they could hear "you're fired" at any time. Will it actually happen? If there was an election today, it looks like Trump would have the majority over President Joe Biden. This is what American betting companies think. They have stated that the market is pointing towards Trump as the presidential favorite. It seems hard to believe, but this same market also predicted Biden's win in 2020, so there may be some logic to it after all. Public opinion of Biden has changed during his presidency so far. Between the COVID pandemic, America's chaotic exit out of Afghanistan, the migrant crisis, and unhappy world allies, a lot has happened already that hasn't given people a lot of confidence. And it's not just the betting market that thinks Biden is in trouble. The approval ratings seem to think so too. Trump scored higher in these ratings, with a majority believing that he's the better president compared to Biden. It's not a good sign that a defeated president that has been impeached twice is doing better than Biden, who isn't even a year into his presidency. However, Trump's opposition may be more prepared than we think. One of the downsides, and there are many, to Trump's shock value and big personality is that people know what lengths he'll go to in order to win. During his first run for president, Trump was seen as a joke, and no one really took him seriously until he won. Now, the Democrats and Republicans who oppose Trump know that he's a legit threat to them and their own campaigns. Here's what the experts think. Disturbingly, even political experts think that Trump might actually have a chance of winning the 2024 election because he'll no doubt play on the emotions of the public. He'll also continue to motivate his loyal fan base with claims of election fraud. Ever since his loss, Trump has always maintained that the election was fraudulent, and his supporters seem to agree. By keeping up this narrative, Trump supporters don't feel like they have closure and believe they're owed another chance. So with that in mind, Trump could still have a lot of votes ready and waiting, especially if they think they were wronged in some way, and Trump will put it right. Although that kind of sounds a little intense, we have to remember that Biden's election was still pretty recent, and anything can happen in the next 3 years. The political landscape could be completely different in 2024, and who knows what will be the biggest issue by that time. Experts also noted that if Biden can make significant changes by the next election and help the economy, blue-collar workers, and small businesses, then Trump might have less of a chance of becoming president again. We also have to remember that Trump isn't the only one in the Republican Party. There are other candidates who would also like to run for president in 2024, so Trump will have to deal with some competition first and win the primaries. However, Trump could still have a trick up his sleeve, even if he loses against another Republican candidate. He could easily run as a third-party candidate, and no doubt his loyal supporters would follow him too. Trump is also such a big presence in politics that any other candidate could be overshadowed quite easily. And let's face it, if there's one thing we've learned from Trump's presidency, it's to always expect the unexpected. The catch? Do you remember when Trump supporters stormed Capitol Hill earlier in 2021? How could we forget? Well, lawmakers certainly haven't, and they still want to hold Trump accountable for the siege. There has been evidence presented that links Trump to the incident, but the only consequence that he has faced is being banned from social media. He even praised the people involved, stating that they were being treated unfairly and how his heart and mind were with them. He has stuck to his own story and insists that the Democrats are just trying to persecute him. However, members of the Senate feel like the incident has damaged Trump's reputation forever, and his actions will never be forgotten. And even though he still has loyalties in the Senate, not everyone is willing to show support. One Republican shockingly called Trump cancer for the country. This particular Republican was one of 10 who voted for Trump to be impeached after the Capitol Hill riot. Clearly, there are doubts within Trump's own party. Just because he's a popular candidate doesn't mean he's liked by everyone. What are your thoughts? Do you think Trump will pull it out of the bag again? Or is he doomed to fail? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.